That's all I want to do. So I'm going to start it. So take your pen out, your pad, and get ready to take notes. Because I don't want you to bleed nothing I'm saying. I'm not trying to convince you. For those who really want to know, like I said, it's always better to do your own research, right? And come to your own understanding. I'm just trying to get you started, to turn on a light bulb, to get you out of the box, right? Like I said, it's a whole lot of things that we have been taught, right? That's not true, right? And we have become accustomed to and been holding on for so long where it's hard for us to make an adjustment because we're so used to a certain way of believing in certain things. And with that said, let me get started. Once again, this video is about the 9-planet myth. The lies that they told us about these planets that's supposed to be rotating around the solar system. However, I'm finna name the planets. Okay. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn was known since ancient time as they are visible to the naked eye. Uranus was discovered by William Herschel in 1781. Neptune was discovered by Johann Galle in 1846. Pluto, once considered a planet, was discovered by Clyde Tombaugh in 1930. However, Pluto is now classified as a dwarf planet. And to my understanding, what that means is that it's no longer considered to be a planet because of its size. It's not as big as that they thought it was. What they consider planets to be. Now, notice if you was listening. Remember, they always say reading is fundamental, but listening and comprehending always seem to be the best teachers of men. Especially when you got to understand what you reading. I mean, you got people to read excellent, but what is they understanding from what they read? That's what it come down to. That should be the only important metrics. And with that said, I just told you, according to them, 6 planets. Remember, it's supposed to be 9, now it's 8. Right? Was all discovered at the same time. Right? And the other 3 were discovered by the 3 guys I just named in different times. Right? And they were discovered by using a telescope. One, like I said, Uranus was discovered by William Herschel in 1781. Neptune was discovered by Johann Galle in 1846. And Pluto, once considered a planet, was discovered by Clyde Tombaugh in 1930. However, Pluto is no longer considered a planet because they saying it's not big enough to be considered a planet. It's smaller than they thought it was. That's my understanding from my research and my comprehension. Now, you got to ask yourself now, what I'm finna do now is read you the distance of these planets, how far they is from the sun and how far they is from each other, right? Because all planets rotates around the sun, right? The solar system, right? Now, I'm going to start off with Mercury. Mercury, the closest planet to the sun, is 36 miles, 58 million kilometers. Venus, the second planet from the sun, is 108 million kilometers. Venus, the second planet from the sun, is 67.2 million miles and 108 kilometers. Earth, the third planet from the sun, is 93 million miles, 147.7 million kilometers. Mars, the fourth planet from the sun, is 141.6 million miles, 227.9 kilometers. Jupiter, the fifth planet from the sun, is 483.7 million miles and 778 million kilometers. Saturn, the sixth planet from the sun, is 889.8 million miles and 1 billion kilometers. And we're going to say in the seventh planet, Uranus, is 1.8538 billion miles from the sun, right? And the eighth planet, eighth planet is, let me see, the eighth planet I think it's Neptune, which is 2.765 billion miles from the sun. And the ninth planet is Pluto, which is 3.1886 billion miles from the sun, right? Now that's just giving you the distance from each planet that surrounded the sun, right? That rotates around the sun. Now, listen to that. And they told you that 6 other planets was all discovered the same time, right? And the 6 planets, like I told you, was Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. But you know what really doesn't make sense to me? For once, all the planets had to be discovered from Earth, right? By a human being, right? But for them to say that the 6th one was discovered, you know, and Earth happened to be one of them, how can you discover a planet for once? I'm just using Earth as one. How can you discover a planet? You can't even discover Earth because you ain't never left off Earth to discover, right? So you was always on Earth. So I'm going to eliminate Earth, right? And so we're going to say we're going to take it to the other 5. So the other 5 planets would be Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Now, I just told y'all the distance of all these planets, right? They want y'all to bleed. Now, this just show you how they brainwash us, right? And they make us believe what they want us to believe, right? And most of us, we don't do our own research. We just go along with the lies, right? Because that's something we've been taught and told possibly all our life. That's why I say when you start stepping out the box, when you start having your own experience, right? When you start doing your own research, right? And that's when you start coming into the truth, right? You start learning yourself, right? And like I said, to me, my best education is my experience and learning from others, right? And doing my research. You know, but when it comes to education, I don't feel that I really learned it. I feel like I was domiciled, like I was programmed to believe that I was learning when I actually was being taught to, you know, enslave my mind from the truth, right? So, far as education, you know, I graduated, got a high school diploma, grammar school diploma, some colleges. But honestly, I never really learned, like I said. It's just like I was just being programmed, right? I thought I was learning, but I wasn't. Because all the things that I was taught when I was in school, when I was pushing for the educations and all that, right? And all the things that I'm telling you I learned, none of it applied with the education that I was given and I was taught. In fact, to be honest with you, it's totally opposite. And with that said, as usual, you know, I want to get back to the subject. I want to get too far off the subject. But I want y'all to make this make sense to me. Now, we all can admit, right? Now, nobody have a problem admitting, you know I don't, that technology have advanced, right? I know I don't have a problem from a 1800, from a 1700, when they discovered the other 3 planets in 1781, in 1846 and 1930, we can all honestly admit that technology and man have advanced a lot more since then, right? But what I need for any of you to understand, any of you, y'all can get NASA, science, and anybody else. If anybody can just help me understand, trust me, and it's easy for me to understand, comprehend is real, I get along with that real well. How can you have human beings, right, according to them, and not including Earth, that can see these 5 planets and discover them from the naked eye, right? With no advanced technology, no telescope or none of that. They trying to convince you that human beings discover all these planets at the same time. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn with no telescope, no advanced equipment, never anything, just from naked eyes. But yet they trying to tell you, but the other 3 planets was only discovered and was seen through a telescope. Now, first of all, what supernatural human can see Venus? Venus is said to be approximately distance, right? 67.2 miles, right? And 108 miles kilometer. How can a human see that far with his naked eye? And if Venus is said to be the second planet, I just read Venus' second planet. Is Mercury, the first planet, is said to be 36 miles and 58 kilometers. And fourth planet, Mars, is said to be 1.416 miles and 227.9 kilometers. And Jupiter is said to be 483.7 miles and 778 million kilometers. And Saturn, the sixth planet, is said to be 889.9 miles, 1.4 billion kilometers. And when you talk about Neptune, and you talk about Uranus, and you talk about Pluto, they over 2 and 3 billion miles. So they said the only way to see them, and they discovered they had to have a telescope. But they had to have a telescope to see 2 and 3 billion miles. Ain't no way in God's name and nature and science and anything in any way possible that you can see a planet that's 800 and some millions of miles with the naked eye. So what they telling me, if it took them a telescope to discover the other 3 planets to make it 9 planets, right? And the 6th was already discovered with the naked eye. It's not adding up to me. It only means 2 things, right? It's only 2 reasons and 2 scenarios and 2 answers to that. Do y'all want to know what that is? Of course y'all do. Because I know y'all don't know what it is. Because I'm kind of geeky like in any way. So I'm going to tell you what that would mean to me. First off, it would mean in order for them to discover something, right? It would have to exist, right? And the second reason, the second answer is, right? In order for them to discover something, it only could exist, right? So it's like saying, now, for me, and my research, and my comprehension, my understanding, and I say this with all respect, you know what I mean? Like I say, I'm not trying to convince nobody, and I'm not trying to down nobody or anything. But all it's telling me is the planet don't exist. Oh, got y'all, didn't it? Because I know y'all saying like, but how they don't exist? They showing all these pictures and all that. I told you the game they play. It's easy to photograph pictures and say something exists and show holograms and movies. It doesn't mean it exists. It doesn't make it exist. You see what I mean? Like I said, I'm going to say it again. There's only 2 reasons. You can't discover what exists, right? And you can only discover what don't exist. That's why the planets don't exist. You see what I mean? Because everything exists, it's already here. It wasn't discovered. But do y'all notice they not talking about what already exists? They not really so much talking about the sun, or they ain't so much talking about the moons. They ain't count those as planets, right? They not counting those as planets because they know they exist, and everything that they count as planet don't exist. And any of y'all that's saying, I mean, do y'all actually think that exists? For anybody that believe that the 9 planets exist, right? The only planet that exists that they calling a planet, that they consider to be a planet, is Earth. And I'm not going to say too much. Like I said, I'll go deep with y'all and I'll share a lot of stuff with y'all, but I still want to stay inside, my safety net, right? Well, I don't want to be saying too much that's going to cause me a lot of problems. But a lot of things I'm saying, that I say when I be saying this video, I just be getting straight to the point, for y'all won't have to really be trying to figure out what I'm saying and confusing y'all. I'm making it as simple as I can make it. But with I said that, I can actually tell y'all what Earth is, and I can actually tell y'all what the moon, and I can tell y'all exactly what the sun is. I tell y'all this, it's not what they told y'all it is. But I'm not going to tell y'all what it is. At least not in this video, if not ever. Because that's probably be stepping, over the boundaries and telling y'all too much. So, but I'm going to tell y'all what I'm telling y'all now. The 8 of the planets that they claim they're our planet, they don't exist. They all lies. It's all illusion. And y'all keep saying, what is my proof? And it's funny because I just gave y'all my proof. And the only proof that y'all have is the proof that they taught us in school and what they told y'all from the pictures of my proof. And the only proof that y'all have is the proof that they taught us in school and what they told y'all from the pictures and stuff that they show and put in books and all that and on TV and films. That is y'all proof. You get what I mean? But I'm telling you, my proof is from studying, right? And my understanding, here go my proof why the planet don't exist, right? Here's my proof why the planet was never discovered and they never exist, right? And I'm going to say it again. Y'all just got to listen what I'm saying. And I'm going to say it, if y'all probably catch it later. But in order to discover something, right? It don't matter what it is. It had to exist first, right? In order for something to, in order for you to discover something that had to exist, right? Right? You can't discover what is this. You get what I mean? So how does they tell you they'll discover something? It's 2 ways. You can only discover what exists, and whatever exists never can be discovered because it exists, right? So I'm saying to you, if y'all gonna let them make y'all believe that the 9 planets exist that they claim that rotates around the solar system, right? They never been discovered. Because everything that's already discovered exists. You can't discover what exists, right? So the reason why they don't exist because they haven't discovered. If these planets exist that they claiming they discovered, then how come you can't see them? How come? Because everything, I want you to follow where I'm going, that exists can never be discovered because it already exists. You understand what I'm saying? You'll catch it later. You get what I mean? Let me give you an example. Can't you see the moon? Can't you see the stars? Can't you see the sun? The reason why, it ain't so, the reason why I see They play these mind games and tell you the reason why you can't see the planets is because they're so far away. But, this is a trick. See, this is where they double talking at. And this is what I'm saying, where they be playing mind games with us and how they be brainwashing, right? Because they just said, right? And first of all, please do yourself a favor and be humble. Look up everything I'm saying. Use your computers, whatever you want to use, right? Don't go by what I'm saying. But they just said that 6 other planets were discovered at the same times by the human eyesight, right? So they trying to tell you, and the other 3 were discovered through a telescope. So they want you to say that you can actually see these planets with your eyes that was already discovered. So I'm just asking you, according to them, not me. I didn't say this. I didn't write all this. I didn't put all this up in the books in school and all that. I'm just telling you what I read and what I comprehend and what I study. If 6 of these planets are already discovered and can be seen by the human eyes, how come none of us can see these planets? The same 6 planets that they said that was already discovered at the same time and be seen by the human eyes, I'm going to name them one more time, and I'm going to ask you, can you see them? Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. And notice, they didn't even say Earth. I added Earth because I was intelligent enough to realize they had to be including Earth. And they eliminated Earth because they know everything and every other planet and everything said and done is done from Earth. So they use Earth in 2 ways, where it's been said and done is done from Earth. So they use Earth in 2 ways, where it's beneficial for them, to them, and when it's not beneficial to them, and at the same time. You know what I mean? So anybody look in the sky and see these planets, they say that the people see with the naked eye that they already have discovered before they discovered the other 3 planets. Have anybody seen any of these planets yet? Do y'all see them now? I'm waiting. Hello? But yet, they want to convince y'all the only reason you can't see the other planets is because you need a telescope and they're so far away. But I'm going to tell you, if one of them so far away, that means all of them so far away, because ain't no way in the hell. If you're going to see all these planets as far as I told you that they are from the sun with the naked eye, it's just not totally. I mean, you can have 40 over 100. You know how they be saying, I got 20/20. You can have 6 billion on 6 billions. You can have the highest IQ there can be, and you still ain't going to see this planet. You ain't going to be able to see no planet over 1 billion miles and 300 and something million kilometers with the naked eye. It's totally impossible. And the reason why you're not going to be able to see these planets, not that the fact that they can exist, is the fact that they don't exist. Because if it's something all the way in the 1700 and 1800 and the 1900, the discovers these supposed to be planets that ain't nobody never seen with the telescope, right? But they can't see the other 6 planets that people see. How come you can't see the other 6 planets that the people see seeing with their naked eyes, right? Every day when you're looking in the telescope. But they want to try to convince you, but you can see the other 3 planets that you could see with the naked eye of the telescope. Logic would tell me, thinking like a human, right? That with the telescope, you will be real easy for you to see the other 6 planets with the telescope. Because I already said, according to them, you already can see the 6th planet with the naked eye. Oh, how you doing, Tanya? Speaking to one of my friends. Shout out to Tanya. So that right there is letting you know that they double talking. So is any of you that use a telescope, that has a telescope, take it anytime, any day, no matter what size, what kind. I want you to look in it. I want you to show me any of these planets. I can guarantee you will not find one. So, I just want to share that with y'all, and I'm trying to enlighten y'all, right? How so many things, like I said in the video, last video I made, how we've been taught so many things, right? and to bleed so many things, right? And how it was done intentionally, right? But as you get older, even though age is illusion, but as you come into your understanding, right? And the power that inherited into you from the Most High, right? Then you get to learn the truth, right? Everything man's live for, everything man stands for is all lies, right? The truth always is in the Creator, that one source. Everything outside of the Creator is made up by man's. And see, and man used all these things to manipulate you and control you, to separate you from the Creator. That's the whole purpose of them. Power. Control. Greed. That's their only purpose. They make you think they want to save you and help you and bring you together, bring you closer, and all this. In reality, they don't. They don't want you to know who you is. They want you to know the power in you, right? They want to keep you sleeping down where they can control you and manipulate you, right? And have you believing what they want you to believe, doing what they want you doing. They want you to move when they say move, jump when they say jump. But I'm telling you, turn on the light bulb. I'm not asking you to believe anything I'm saying. I'm not trying to change your thoughts or anything. All I'm asking you is, don't be afraid to step out the box. Turn on the light bulb. Learn for yourself. Do your own research. Like I said, I'm kind of geeky, so this is like candy to me. So this is what I do. I like to challenge myself. That's part of the God conscious. That's part of the ability that was given to me, right? Because God lived in me, right? I'm not going to allow myself to be boxed in either for everything that's in God. So that's why my mind is open to all things, especially as long as it's truth. And it's about learning, right? And growing and getting back closer to the Creator, right? And to the creation. Not what's pushing me away, right? So that's how I see life and I see the universe. And that's why I'm always open to learn, And that's why I say we can learn from each other, right? And so don't never allow yourself to be boxed in, Because to be boxed in is to shut yourself down and to be controlled, right? It's to rob yourself from the God-building abilities that was given to you and the power that's inherited you through the God that live in you, right? See, they don't want you to know that, right? The Creator don't live outside of you. The Creator live within you, right? So everything that you need is already in you, right? So they want to take that from you and they want to plant their seeds in you, right? And I'm just trying to wake you up and turn on the light bulb, right? So if I insulted anybody, right, by trying to share with them, right, and turn on the light bulb, let me be the first to apologize. It's just my way of just sharing, what I learned, what I study, what I experienced, right, from self.